Ready to tackle some tough political affairs officer interview questions? We're going deep today, folks. Think of this as your ultimate insider's guide to not just surviving the interview, but really crushing it.
Exactly. We'll unpack those tricky questions, give you some strategic insights, and even show you how AI can help you really nail those answers.
So first things first, what exactly does a political affairs officer do? It's got to be more than just reading the news, right?
Oh, way more than that. It's like being on the front lines of global events. You're analyzing trends, predicting potential conflicts, and, advising those key players who make big decisions. You're helping shape the policies that affect countries and how they get along with each other.
So it's not just observing the political chessboard, it's like you're actually making moves, right?
That's a great way to put it. It's a dynamic role, that's for sure. You need a mix of skills, sharp analysis, strategic thinking. You've got to be able to communicate persuasively, and of course, a deep, deep understanding of global politics. And that's exactly what those interview questions are designed to dig into.
Okay, so let's get to those questions. What's the first one on our list that candidates should be ready for?
Well, we could start with a classic. What inspired you to pursue a career in political affairs? It's all about showing off that genuine passion you have for this field.
So it's not just reciting your resume, it's more about like telling a story that grabs them.
Exactly. Think about an event that really impacted you, or maybe a book that opened your eyes, or even a person who inspired you. Make it personal, make it memorable. Did a humanitarian crisis move you? Was it a political leader's courage that made you think, this is what I want to do?
I bet RoleCatcher's AI can help folks tailor their answers to fit the specific jobs they want, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like having a storytelling coach in your pocket.
You got it. That AI can actually look at the job description, pick out the keywords, and then boom, it suggests ways to weave those right into your answer. So instead of just giving a generic response, you're hitting them with a targeted story that truly clicks with what they're looking for.
Okay, smart. Next question. How about this one? What are the most pressing political issues facing our society today? They're definitely looking for more than just what's trending on Twitter, right?
For sure. This is where you get to show off your knowledge and how you analyze things. Choose issues that really connect with the job you want and what that organization focuses on. Like if it's an organization that specializes in, let's say, conflict resolution,
Yeah.
then talking about current conflicts and how they affect everyone would be a good call.
Right, but you don't just want to list them off. It's about going deeper.
Right. Explain why these issues are a big deal, what causes them, and maybe even throw in some potential solutions. And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can help you here too.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It can analyze current events, news articles, all that, and then help you pick out the issues that are most relevant to your specific interview. You can even practice your answers right there on their platform and get feedback on how you're analyzing everything.
Wow, so it's like a research assistant and a debate coach rolled into one. Very cool. Okay, what other questions should we hit next? How about this one? How do you stay up to date on political developments and news? Seems simple enough, but I bet there's a trick to answering it well.
You bet there is. It's about showing you're proactive and not just passively scrolling through the news.
So you shouldn't just say, I read the news.
No. Mention those specific publications you follow, think tanks, journals, maybe even podcasts. The important thing is to show you're getting your information from a mix of sources, so you see things from different angles. You could even mention those political analysts or experts you follow online.
That shows you're plugged into current discussions and debates, keeping your finger on the pulse. And RoleCatcher probably comes in handy here again too, right?
You know it. It can suggest resources that fit the specific job description. Say the job focuses on East Asian politics, the AI might suggest journals or think tanks that are all about that region. It really helps make sure your answer hits the mark and shows you're a go-getter when it comes to research.
Okay, now let's dive into a question about teamwork and conflict resolution. It's all about those people skills. How would you suggest how do you handle disagreements or conflicts in a team setting?
Oh, this one is huge, especially in this field where you have to be a master collaborator and diplomat. They want to see you can navigate those sticky interpersonal situations like a pro.
So it's not about avoiding conflict altogether, right? It's more like, how do you handle it in a way that moves things forward?
Exactly. The best way to answer this one is to give them a real example from your past, a time you had a clash with a colleague. Did you really listen to their side? Did you try to find common ground? And how did you work towards a solution that worked for everyone on the team?
It's all about showing you can stay cool, professional, and focused on finding solutions even when things get a little heated. And I'm thinking RoleCatcher could probably help people prep for this one too.
For sure. Their platform can look at your experiences and suggest the most relevant story to share, one that really highlights the skills they're looking for.
So it's not just telling a story, it's about picking the right story and telling it in a way that clicks with the job. Now let's shift gears a bit. How about a question that's super relevant for people who want to work with those high-level officials? Like, can you describe your experience working with government officials or diplomats?
This is your time to shine if you've got experience in this area. Share those specific examples of how you've worked with those folks. Show them you can communicate effectively, build relationships, and handle sensitive situations with finesse. Did you help write a policy brief? Did you coordinate a big meeting between officials? Let them know.
So it's all about proving you understand the protocols and how to work with these important figures. But what if you don't have a ton of direct experience there? What then?
Don't sweat it. You can still rock this question by focusing on transferable skills. Maybe you presented a tough issue to a senior executive or negotiated a tricky agreement with a client. Those experiences show you can communicate clearly, build rapport, and handle delicate situations with tact.
And I bet researching the organization you're interviewing for can help you tailor your answer even more.
Absolutely. If you can name drop specific government agencies or officials they work with, it shows you've done your homework and you're genuinely interested in what they do.
Okay, let's tackle a question about strategic thinking now. The ones that really test your ability to see the big picture. What about this one? How do you approach developing and implementing political strategies?
Yes. They want to see if you can think strategically, analyze tough situations, and come up with actionable plans to reach goals. They want to know you can approach those political challenges with a smart plan and break down complex goals into manageable steps.
Okay, so how would you suggest someone tackle this question? Give us the breakdown.
Start by explaining your overall process for developing those strategies and putting them into action. Highlight how you gather and analyze information, how you identify key players and what they want, and how you build consensus. Then explain how you create strategies that address everyone's needs, how you track progress, adapt to changes, and measure if it's working.
It's like showing off your ability to think strategically and then actually apply those skills to the real-world challenges that organization faces. I'm sensing a RoleCatcher moment here too, right?
You betcha. Their platform can actually analyze the employer's strategic goals and then suggest frameworks or methodologies you can mention. It's like having a strategic planning guru right there in your pocket.
Okay, one more communication-focused question. What about this one? What experience do you have with public speaking and media relations? That's got to be super important for this kind of role.
Oh, you're absolutely right. They want to see you can communicate those complex ideas in a way that's clear, concise, and persuasive. If you've got direct experience with public speaking or media relations, share specific examples. Maybe you gave a killer presentation at a conference, briefed a government official, or even did a media interview.
It's all about showing off those skills. Crafting a compelling story, tailoring your message to different audiences, and handling those tough questions with grace under pressure. But what if someone's a little light on experience in this area?
No worries. They can still highlight those transferable skills. Talk about leading team meetings, presenting project updates to clients, even facilitating workshops. The key is to show you're comfortable speaking in front of people and communicating effectively.
I bet RoleCatcher can lend a hand here too, right?
Absolutely. That AI can pick out those communication skills the employer really values. You can even practice your answers on the platform and get feedback on your delivery, making sure you come across as confident and professional.
That's amazing. Like having a personal public speaking coach on demand. Okay, let's wrap up this question deep dive with one that's sure to put those nerves to the test. What about, can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision in a political context? What are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, this question is designed to see how you make judgments, how you solve problems, and how you handle pressure in those sensitive political situations. They want to understand how you approach tough choices, weigh different interests, and ultimately come to a decision.
So how should someone approach this question? Give us the game plan.
Share a specific example from your past where you faced a tough decision in a political setting. Describe the situation, the challenges you ran into, and all the factors you had to consider. Did you gather info from various sources? Did you talk to colleagues or experts? Walk them through your thought process.
It's all about proving you can think critically, consider different viewpoints, and make well-informed decisions even when the pressure's on. And I bet RoleCatcher can help you pick the right story to tell here.
You bet. That AI can analyze your experiences and suggest the most relevant example based on what the job description's asking for. It can even help you refine your story to emphasize those skills and qualities they value most.
So it's like having your own personal interview strategist helping you craft the perfect answer. We've covered a lot of ground here. These questions may be tough, but they really are meant to see your passion, your knowledge, and your ability to thrive in this complex, ever-changing field.
Exactly. And with the right prep, these questions can be opportunities to show off your strengths, your insights, and your potential to rock it as a political affairs officer.
But getting ready for the interview is just one piece of the puzzle. What about understanding the career trajectory, the growth paths, and those unique rewards that come with dedicating yourself to this field? That's what we'll dig into next.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Getting that interview is a huge step, but knowing where this role can take you in the long run, that's key too. And that's where RoleCatcher's insights come in. They're super valuable for this.
Okay, so let's map out those career paths. What does moving up in this field look like?
Well, RoleCatcher breaks it down into stages. They show how responsibilities change as you go from entry level all the way up to those senior political affairs officer positions.
So you can really visualize where this could lead you. That's cool.
Exactly. At the entry level, you'll probably be supporting senior colleagues, doing research, crunching data, writing reports. As you gain experience, you take on more and more.
Like maybe creating and implementing those political strategies, giving briefings, representing the organization in meetings, things like that.
Exactly. And at the senior level, you can be leading entire teams, advising high-level decision makers. You might even shape the organization's political strategy overall.
Wow, so there's some serious potential for growth there. But I bet it's not always easy, right? What are some of the challenges people might run into in this kind of career?
You're right. It's definitely not always smooth sailing. It can be really demanding with long hours, tough deadlines, and you've got to be able to handle pressure. Sometimes you might even have to travel to places that are, well, a bit unstable.
So you're saying resilience and adaptability are super important.
Oh, absolutely. But there's a flip side to all that. It's incredibly rewarding, too. You get to have a real impact on global affairs, maybe help resolve conflicts, even help shape policies that create peace and stability.
It's huge. So for someone who's really interested in this path, what are some concrete steps they can take to, set themselves up for success?
Besides the academic stuff, there are a bunch of things you can do to stand out. Continuous learning, for one. The world of political affairs, it's constantly changing. You got to stay ahead of the curve. RoleCatcher's Career Guide really emphasizes workshops, seminars, conferences, all that good stuff to keep learning and growing.
So it's like a continuing education program for global politics.
Exactly. They even suggest going for advanced degrees or certifications in specialized areas like conflict resolution, mediation, policy analysis, anything that gives you that extra edge.
Getting that specialized expertise, that can really set you apart.
Oh, for sure. And don't underestimate self-study either. Reading reputable news, academic journals, following the experts in the field, it all adds up.
Like creating your own masterclass in political affairs.
Right on. Then there's networking. Building relationships with other professionals. It can open doors to new opportunities, give you valuable insights.
Yeah, networking. That's huge no matter what you do.
Yeah.
How does RoleCatcher suggest people approach networking in this field?
They recommend going to industry events, joining those professional organizations, and even connecting with people on LinkedIn. Don't be shy about reaching out to people you admire, folks who work in areas you're interested in.
It's all about those connections, right? Learning from what other people have experienced.
Exactly. And one last thing, it's super important to show off what you can do, build that strong professional profile.
So it's not just about having the knowledge and experience, it's about letting people see it.
Exactly. RoleCatcher suggests writing research papers, policy briefs, maybe even creating your own website or blog. Participating in conferences as a speaker, that's a big one too.
So you're not just learning, you're becoming a thought leader.
That's the idea. And you guessed it, RoleCatcher's AI can help you here too. Their platform can point you to relevant professional development opportunities, suggest people you should connect with, even help you fine-tune your resume and online profiles to highlight those sought-after skills and experience.
It's like having a personal career coach guiding you every step of the way. Amazing. So we've talked career paths, strategies for success. Now let's talk about those must-have skills, the ones you absolutely need to thrive in this field. What does RoleCatcher say about that?
Well, they consistently rank communication as number one. It's at the top of their list.
Communication. Makes sense. But why is it so crucial for this specific field?
Well, you have to explain complex ideas clearly and concisely, both when you're speaking and writing. Remember, you're dealing with a lot of different people, high-level government officials, colleagues from different cultures, all sorts.
So it's not just about being a good communicator, it's about adapting your style to different people and situations.
Exactly. And you need strong interpersonal skills, cultural sensitivity, all that. You have to build relationships, handle sensitive situations, and find common ground with people who come from all kinds of different backgrounds and have totally different perspectives.
You're like a diplomatic chameleon, blending in and connecting with everyone. What other skills does RoleCatcher mention?
Critical thinking is another big one. Political affairs officers have to analyze info from all these different sources, figure out if there's any bias, and then draw solid conclusions. It's
Yeah.
about digging deeper, understanding all those subtle details of complex situations.
So you're not just taking in information, you're dissecting it.
You got it. And you also need to think strategically, anticipating potential roadblocks, coming up with creative solutions.
Like a political chess master.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about persuasion.
Persuasion. Why is that so important for this role?
Well, you'll often find yourself in situations where you need to influence people, build consensus, get them on board with certain policies or actions. You're crafting strong arguments, presenting your case, and hopefully bringing them around to your point of view.
So it's not just about being right, it's about getting people to see your perspective.
Exactly. And the good news is, RoleCatcher skill guides give you a ton of info on each of these skills. They even have tips on how to develop them and show them off effectively.
So they're not just telling you what you need, they're giving you the tools to get there.
That's the idea. They even have those AI-powered tools that assess your skills and suggest resources to help you improve.
Wow, they've really thought of everything. So we've talked interview prep, career paths, and all those essential skills. Any final thoughts for our listeners as they dive into this exciting field?
I think it's important to remember that the world of political affairs is constantly changing, it's challenging, and ultimately it's incredibly rewarding. It requires constant learning, being able to adapt, and a genuine desire to make a difference.
Stay curious, embrace those challenges, and never stop learning. Sounds like a good motto.
It is, because the one thing that's certain in political affairs is change. Your ability to adapt, learn, and grow, that's what will determine your success.
That's a great point.
Hmm.
So we've talked about prepping for those tough interview questions, what a career in this field might look like, and the skills you need to really shine. But there's one last piece of the puzzle we need to explore. How do you leverage what makes you unique, your own strengths and experiences, to stand out in this competitive field? That's what we'll get into next. Okay, so we've talked about skills, career paths, nailing those interview questions. But now let's talk about you, the individual.
Yeah, that's key, because political affairs, it's competitive. It's not enough to just tick all the boxes. You got to show them what makes you different.
So it's not just about fitting the mold, it's about breaking it, right?
Exactly. I mean, no two political affairs officers are the same.
Yeah.
Everyone brings something different to the table, right? Their background, their experiences, how they see the world.
I like that.
No,
So
yeah.
how do you figure out what those strengths are and how to use them?
Well, you got to look inward first. Think about what gets you fired up. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What experiences have shaped you?
Like an internal audit. Find those hidden gems that set you apart.
Yeah, exactly. And then think about how those unique things about you could translate into something valuable in this field.
Okay, so say someone has experience with grassroots organizing. That could be really useful in a role where you're trying to build consensus, get people on board with political initiatives.
Exactly. Or maybe someone has a deep understanding of a specific region or culture. That's gold if you're dealing with international relations or trying to bridge cultural divides.
I see. Those experiences you might not think are relevant can actually be huge assets.
They can. And it's not just about what you've done, it's about how you talk about it. You got to connect your experiences to the specific role and organization you're going for.
Connect the dots between your past and your future goals. I bet RoleCatcher could help people with that.
Oh, definitely. Their AI can analyze those job descriptions and suggest ways to tailor your resume and cover letter so you're highlighting those skills and experiences that matter most to them. It's like having a personal branding expert working for you.
That's amazing. So as we wrap up here, I think it's important to remember that this isn't just about getting a job. It's about finding a role where you can make a real impact.
I couldn't agree more. It's about using your skills, your knowledge, your passion to make things better.
So go into that interview with confidence. Show them what you've got. Let your passion shine through.
The world needs more dedicated, insightful political affairs officers.
And we think you could be one of them. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive, everyone. We'll see you next time.